Hello everyone. Today we are discussing OSI model in Study with Money session, and today we are trying to understand what is exactly OSI model is and why it is important when we are trying to learn networking. So firstly try to understand what is OSI model is. OSI model is Open Standard Interconnection. It designed and developed by ISO in 1984, and it OSI model have 7 layers. All layers are very important for their design purpose, and all layers have a very meaningful purpose, and all are working seamlessly together. Now you can see they have a 7 layers are available here, and first layer is physical layer, second layer is data link layer, third layer is network layer, fourth layer is transport layer, fifth layer is session layer, sixth layer is presentation layer, seventh layer is application layer. So these layers are available. It's when some user wants to connect with browser. So firstly interact with the seventh layer, and because he will try to open some application onto the browser, so that layer is called the application layer. When he will open some UI, that UI have some images, some content, that is the presentation layer. Fifth layer is session layer. If he will log in onto the application, so that time he is using a session layer. And after that, whatever the data he will he will transfer from his machine and try to access, so that that it will use transport layer, network layer, data layer, and physical layer till session to physical. It convert into the data into the different segments, packets, frames, and binary format. And then when it binary format convert, then after it move into the network devices from one location to another location via optical fiber line. And when it moved into the zero format into the different location, again it moved into the binary format to the frame level here. Then it is moved here in packet format in networking. Then it move here into the segment layer, and after that it move into the server location. So from client to server, it uses a optical fiber line, and data transfer from server to client to server using the optical fiber line, and data transfer from one location to another location via these 7 layers, and data convert into the 0 1 format and move data one location to another location. So this is the basic idea behind it. So why the different layers are available? So we need to understand it into the next slide. So when user logged in into the any application, he is using a data into the fifth layer. And then when he is using logged in into the device into the any application, it is transferring the data from client to server, some data. And when it moved into the transport protocol, transport layer, what is happening? It data break down into the different segment, and then when the transport layer to the network layer, again data break down into the packet format and more sequential way. And when it move into the second layer, which is again break down into the seg more more frame in a frame format, data breakdown to the frame format. It have some headers, which is ensuring that data is moving from network to data in a error free. And after that, it is converting into the in a physical layer, it converting into the binary format, because after that we will use optical fiber line to transfer the data from one location to another location. So 0 1 format is the only way we can transfer data from client to server. Now, in the next slide, we're trying to understand what are the OSI layers are available, different functions, protocols, and every layer are using some devices. So what is the different devices are using in a different layer. So we can see here application layer where the user are interacting with the browser, and it is using the HTTPS, FTP, HTTPS protocols. Second, presentation layer. When the browser when the data populated, then it is using the data encryption, conversion, compression, and using the HTML tag, JPEG, everything is using into the protocol. The third is the session layer. Here he will connect with the browser into the application using the sign in, sign out, and sign in it is using the open sign in session, and when he will logged out it is using the session close session. So it is using the RPC and TLS protocol. And in these three layers, it is actually a software layer. It is not using any hardware. So that's why it is showing in a different color. And the software devices which is using in application gateway, VPN, SSL, app firewall, proxies, these are the software which is using in three layers. Now you can see the remaining four are in a different color. Why? Because it is using in a hardware level. So these all layers are using uh, hardware devices. So transport layer is a bridge between the data layer and the hardware. So that's why it is calling a heart of OSI model. And transport layer, actually it is a very important layer because here the data break down into the segments, and the two protocols which is playing a major role, TCP and UDP. TCP basically when the data transfer from one location to another. So here acknowledgements, uh, the device gets the acknowledgement, but in UDP there is no acknowledgement needed because when we are transferring the high volume of data like a video processing and voice processing, so at that time, acknowledgement not needed. And this device is using a load balancer network. Again, it break down the data. And here you will see that there is one header is added, which port data is transferring. So that header appended with the segment. When again it is going to the next level into the networking, again the segment breakdown into the packets, and the packets, every packet have a some sequence number, which is designed for sequencing the data, and uh, and this device is actually controlling the data and wants to move the data into more sequential way that there is no loss of data is possible. So that's why, and here it is using router, and we will see that the second layer, which is a data link, here it is this layer is actually uh, using a frame, uh, which is actually again one more header is appending with the every packet. It break down the frame, and if every frame have a one more header, which is MAC address, from which device this data is transferring it. And this data link is using a Ethernet protocol, which have a two function MAC and LLC. The both MAC is media access control, LLC is the logical link. Both have a same purpose, that the access media transfer, error free transfer from sender to receiver. And it is using the NIC and switches in a hardware device. If you will go in a physical layer, you will find that it convert the frame into the 01 format, and and the protocol which is using RJ45. And because after that this protocol is actually transfer the data into a optical fiber line from one location to another location, and the another location again. These all say seven layers are available, which convert the binary to the different frame, seg uh, packets, and again segment, and then again convert into the server, convert into the more meaningful way. So these seven layers are actually from needed from every process the data also. Now we can understand into the real-time scenario that why and how these layers are working. When any user is sending one mail to another user, so actually you will see that every layer have a different headers are available. So when it move from one layer to another layer, more headers are including. When data transfer from one location to another location, it is converting into the 01 format. And when it receive, it have a more headers are here. When it is going to the layer by layer into the uh, into the receiver end. Then more headers are removing one by one, and it is when it received, there is no more header is remain, and it found, and user find the data without any header in a how exactly the user sent the data, it got the same way. So that is the reason these layers are important, because it's responsible for error-free transfer the data from one location to another location. I hope you will enjoy this wonderful session in OSI model. So next time we'll meet into the another topic. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye bye.